This is Akshay. Welcome to my channel Eva. Hope everyone is happy and safe at their home, and let's get in. So today we have entrepreneur of Cultivate, who is an incubator for aspiring entrepreneurs, and our special guest is Karthik. And so, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Something about myself, I finished my post-graduation in 2004, worked as a professor, placement officer for a career of 6 years, and then I went on to finish my PhD by 2010 in fourth generation wireless communication network, and continued my teaching career till 2016. 2016, we started this technology business incubator, which is part of Bandra Institute of Engineering and Technology, and from there on, we are like this. So that's a quick background. And about the incubator, as I said, we started this incubator in 2016 with the support of Government of India. We were India's first incubator on Internet of Things. We started with 7 startups in 2016 when we started. Today we are around 50 startups in our incubator. It's a quick background about me.
He has been going through a lot of experienced professions like teaching, and he has got enough knowledge for him to help people and learn and guide people through his experiences. So I want to know why you chose the career of technology incubation, this particular stream.
There's a story behind it. Right from my profession, I've been working with a lot of companies, young companies. I've also helped a lot of students of mine go and start their own firms. And I used to financially help them during all these periods. And as an entrepreneur, I knew things were not very easy. And whatever commitments they had to give me on a financial thing, they were not able to realize it. It had its fair share of struggles. Even basic things like, say, for example, when we come from a college, you do not understand what a private limited firm, and you do not know what a partnership firm, what is the consequences of all these things. Small things that when accumulated will go on to become a mountain and stop you from growing. So we wanted to create something holistic which can help the student community on the first level and also help whoever is aspiring to become an entrepreneur. So these were two things that I've always had in mind, and one of the things that I personally love is empowering people. Whether it's a student or whether it's an entrepreneur, empowerment is something that I'm so passionate about, and it just happened.
So we can see that his aim is to empower people and bring upon a change in the student community and help everyone get a knowledge on what entrepreneurship is. And since we spoke about, you said student community, can we know what other kind of young aspiring entrepreneurs you choose to work?
So, student community is one community that we work closely. Other than that, there are a lot of people who take up a career in different organizations. Over a period of time, they quit the organization, come back, and they want to pursue entrepreneurship because they find that in their job they had a problem. They had a customer who was trying to solve a problem, but that problem was not solved. And so many other reasons why they quit their job and come back and pursue entrepreneurship. Those are definitely some of our target audience. So we try to ensure or help these people who aspire to become an entrepreneur from who are working in these multinational companies. So that is the second level of audience that we target.
His main aim is to help anyone who wants to be an entrepreneur. And guess who else wanted to help entrepreneurs? Please check out the video that I previously made last week, and hope you like that. Anyways, let's continue. So since he wants to help entrepreneurs, I would want to know that there are always few entrepreneurs that you can't make them successful. So I want to know how you find that a business has potential.
There are a couple of things which I see from a business perspective. First, the business, before we go on to growth, we would rather see if there is a need for the business. That's the most important thing. And I personally feel entrepreneurs who are ready to spend time with their customers, they understand the customer needs much better, and these businesses have definitely become successful as well as scale.
What other aspects do you look into when you're selecting a business to?
I primarily look at teams. I personally feel entrepreneurship is a hard struggle, and being alone in that hard struggle is a very difficult job to do. In our experience, we find that people with complementary skills, like say somebody who can build a product, somebody who can run the business, if these people come together and work as a team and go ahead and build a product and a solution and take it as a business, it has definitely been very successful. So team is one thing, and second is, as I said, a product market fit. Is there a need for the product in the market? That is something that we try and validate before we begin.
So we have learned that from him that we have to have a product that has a need in the market, an entrepreneur for the customer. And second is ACE team. ACE team is a team which composites of various people that can complement each other. For example, a person who manufactures, a second person who manages the business, a third person who can take care of the customers. So I want to know how these incubation centers and how these entrepreneurs have a change in the mentality of the society, and how the trend of people wanting to start their own business affects these kind of factors.
See, entrepreneurs are primary wealth creators of the country. If you don't have an entrepreneur in place, you probably won't have jobs, correct? So it could be, when I say an entrepreneur, it could be in terms of a trader, it could be in terms of a technology guy, or it could be anybody for that matter. Someone who starts a hospital, someone who starts a hotel, someone who starts a bakery or a confectionery unit, whatever. Everybody is an entrepreneur per se. Just that we focus on technology, that's a different issue, correct? So that is the first part of it. And countries which have grown are countries which have actually accepted risk. If you are not able to accept risk, then there is no opportunity for a country to grow, because any innovation has its own fair share of challenges and risks. And those countries which have accepted these risks and supported these risks are the countries which have gone to the next level and have become the leaders of the world. Right? So an entrepreneur is somebody who will embrace that risk, and in a country like India, it is very difficult, because if you fail as an entrepreneur, then people consider you as a failure, right? But in the US, if you say I've failed 3 startups, then it's a pride for them. So there's definitely a cultural background, but in terms of how entrepreneurs affect the society, I keep saying that entrepreneurs are definitely wealth creators, and if the country needs to grow, we need to have more entrepreneurs first. And second and most important, the country and the society as a whole should embrace this risk-taking appetite of entrepreneurs and treat them and also respect them when they fail. So that's something that is very important for the society to also notice.
So we have learned that entrepreneurs have an important role to play in the society, and society also has an important role to play in the life of an entrepreneur. We have learned from him that in India, people who fail to have a startup are called failures, but in the same situation in another country, it is a pride. But we should equally treat them and prioritize them, as because once a great man said, failure is a stepping stone to success. So, sir, at a point of time after incubation, a business doesn't need an incubation center to help them anymore. So, after a business is strong enough and grown, what kind of help do you provide after the business moves up?
So the name of our incubator is called Cultivate. It primarily means 8 is actually inverse of filtered infinity. So we help entrepreneurs from 0 to infinity. And as an entrepreneur, you never know when you need it. It could be you would be 100, and all of a sudden you would come down to minus. So as an entrepreneur, you never know when you will need it. And we believe in building a very strong community. And in that sense, we will support an entrepreneur whenever they need help. And like I said, you never know where challenges come. So uncertainty is the only thing which is certain. You need to help them whenever there is an uncertainty that happens.
So it's really important for an entrepreneur to have support by his side at all time, because uncertainty is a very important factor for his business, unlike other businesses. So the 70% success rate from all the businesses that we have selected, can we know what difficulty that the other 30% faced?
The other 30% faced primarily because of the two challenges that we were talking about. First is there was no need for the product in the market, and the second is they failed because they didn't have a team, or the team, there was some kind of misalignment in the team. I mean, 90% of the startups that we at least incubated from, these are the two simple reasons why they failed. We have learned it the hard way of identifying the reason for failures. As I said, these are two reasons why startup fails specifically.
Will you be able to give us an example of failed and a successful business?
Success story. I'll probably call one of my startups called MaxPay. They are an industrial 4.0 company. 4 or 5 entrepreneurs come together. College buddies went on to work with 5 to 6 years in corporate companies like Bosch, different companies. 5 guys came together. Started MaxPay. Started in 2016, 15, 2016. Did a turnover of around 2.5 lakhs first year, of 2.5 crores growing. So pretty straightforward example of having a good team. There was a need for the product in the market. And third and most importantly, this team spends a lot of time with the customers, trying to understand customers' problems, customers' perspectives, customers' way of addressing the problems, and how they can actually help empower the customer. Pretty good and straightforward example for the success. I see that the product market fit is a good thing, and it's a good thing to have. And then having a good team with collaborative skills is another important aspect which has been successful. And I can say for numerous own examples in my own incubation as a milestone for these two factors which are very important in the technology company. But in terms of failures, I would probably say, I don't name the company, but one of the major reasons I felt this one particular company failed is they were very comfortable in their drawing board, in their technology. They were overwhelmed with technology, but they didn't spend enough time with customers. Customers' preferences and choices kept changing over time, and these people were not able to meet their customer requirements and choices. So they failed. So quit on life. So we feel the more time you spend with your customers, you will have more validation of your product. You also understand their needs and challenges better, and you will be able to meet in a better way those challenges. So that's something that I feel is very important.
For any young entrepreneurs watching this, treat your customers well, and even though technology overwhelms you, don't forget the customers are your main key reason for success, and make sure you treat them like they deserve, and they will help you grow when you are ready to work with them and understand their needs and wants. So, customer team finance, write that down, guys, because it is gonna help you a lot. And so let's move on to the current situation. Currently, there are a lot of problems that are happening around the world. For example, the most problem is COVID-19, and I would like to know your thoughts on this COVID-19 worldwide and
too small again to talk about COVID-19 or Corona. It's a universal problem. I think there are much more brilliant minds who can talk about it. But I could probably say two things which will help you tide over the crisis. One, you should all remember dinosaurs have become extinct. Cockroaches have survived the test of time because they're extremely flexible. So if you could be a student, you could be entrepreneur or you could be anybody in this world. If you want to survive the crisis, be flexible, be adaptable. That's one thing. And for entrepreneurs, I personally feel at this point of time, you should be transparent enough with your team to make sure that you communicate your challenges and hold the team that you have built. These are two important things which I feel will help tide over the crisis. But on a general note, my perspective of Corona or COVID and all this thing, it's a universal problem, not just my problem or wise problem. And whenever there is a problem, mankind has always come over it successfully. And I'm sure we will win this crisis again successfully. It's just a matter of time. And I'm sure India and the whole mankind for sure is going to emerge or beat Corona hands down.
So he believes that the only way to come through this corona is is adaptation, being able to adapt yourself to the current situation that the world is in. So we have read a lot of news that small businesses and entrepreneurs are facing difficulty in this pandemic time. So how do you help these kind of businesses to overcome the difficulty and have a proper sustainability?
See, at least in Cultivate, we have a 3-step approach that we have taken to help our entrepreneurs tide over this crisis and keep their head afloat over the water. The first thing that, as I mentioned, is acceptance. That's the most important thing. We have to accept that there is a lot of uncertainty in the market, and that will actually give us new ways of thinking, new tools, new resources, new possibilities. But if you resist and saying that, oh, this has hit me and I'm really irritated about it and all those things, I think all your energy gets sucked up by resistance. So the first thing is we'll have to accept there is some kind of a crisis that is happening. This crisis is not just for us, it's across the globe, so we'll have to accept it. Second, I personally feel finance. When I say finance, if you have money, I think we can tide over the crisis. Some of them may have enough cash flow to tide over the crisis, but many of them may not have. At this point of a time, we should spend time retaining the team. And the best way to retain the team is being transparent, being open, telling them this is the challenge that we are facing, and this is the steps that we are foreseeing to take in the company to tide over the crisis, and this will take so much amount of time. So being transparent will help the team build certainty in their own mindset, and that will help them to stay with you to tide over the crisis. That's the second thing that I think, transparency with the team. That's the second thing that's important. And the third step is primarily saying that it's not just in crisis, it's anywhere. A company without innovation will die, whether it is today or tomorrow. It's just a question of time that's surveyed. At times of Corona, it's the best time for innovation. You really need to innovate. Innovation can be in terms of technology, it can be in terms of business model, it can be in terms of building your team, in terms of managing your finances. It could be anything. Innovation is not necessarily restricted to technology. And as an organization, if you fail to innovate, you're sure to die. I personally feel these are 3 steps that as an entrepreneur, you need to sit back, think and talk and make decisions.
So the 3 steps that we have to follow is accept, be transparent with your team, and innovate. Since we know that he helps entrepreneurs incubate, I would like to know what the term entrepreneurship is according to you, and how we should understand.
You want to understand entrepreneurship?
The ideology of entrepreneurship according to you.
Entrepreneurs are risk takers. It's as simple as that. They embrace risk.
Okay.
I don't think that's any better way of explaining entrepreneurship. Because if you have to become an entrepreneur, you know that it's a big gamble that you're taking. you need to embrace that risk. Just,
Anytime you take a risk, it's not a fortunate success. You do fail sometimes, but it's the success is in how you embrace your failure. So coming to our end, so what do you think is that a factor that you want to mention to young entrepreneurs of 2020 decade?
be happy, at least whether you're an entrepreneur or a millionaire or a student or whatever it is, be happy. I think that should be the first goal as an individual. The rest of it will follow.
So do everything and do everything as a happy minded and enjoy the little things that you have in your life and embrace the journey as you go through it. And thank you for being with us, sir. Make sure that you like and subscribe and see you next time.